going on, guys? It's Justin from the J Media back with another video. So it's been a couple days since I've been down to Long Shop to check on my turbo build. My work schedule has kind of shifted and I've been working more days now, so more days unfortunately means less time to go to the shop to check out my build. But I think Longs has been making some progress on the car. He sent me some photos earlier today saying that he's working on the turbo. So again, I have the Ralliart TD04 turbo set up. And he's trying to put on some of the oil lines that I got from Jonathan Bays, as well as the Kunigawa wastegate actuator. So the stock Ralliart or stock Evo 10 turbo runs too much boost, so you do have to limit the boost. So that's what the Kunigawa turbo actuator is for, to kind of lower the boost. So that's what we're doing. He said it doesn't quite line up. I think we have to drill more holes to kind of, you know, shift it a little bit to work. But yeah, let me head to the shop and check it out. I also did get more stuff here in the mail. So this piece over here is an OEM Evo 10 part. So what this does is it goes to the intake box for the Evo 10 intake box, and you're gonna mount the mass airflow sensor on here. So in the Lancer setup or the Ralliart setup, the mass airflow sensor is actually on the intake box. So I needed this piece to put on my ARC intake box. I also got like a rubber silicone, kind of like a Y-shaped silicone for the turbo. That should be coming in the next few days. Also got some other goodies here, not necessary for the turbo build. Some stuff from Club Spec Chicago. So this is an oil dipstick. So the OEM one is white in color, looks pretty ugly, so I decided to switch it out to something a little nicer. And over here we also have more goodies. So again, another dress up part for the engine bay. This is also from Club Spec Chicago, and this is the power steering reservoir cover. So OEM setup is just white, really ugly, so I got another one. The cover goes right over it. Should look much better. Dress up my engine bay a little bit. Also came with some hardware as well. And then I ordered an ARC Magic sticker for my ARC blow valve pipe, but this size is a little too big, so I might not slap it on. So yeah, I'm just gonna bring these stuff to the Long Shop. I still have more stuff coming in. My NGK spark plugs. You do have to switch out your spark plugs whenever you go turbo. And then also I'm also waiting on that little Y-shaped silicone boot that should be coming in the next few days as well. So I was about to head to Long Shop and I just realized outside my door I had another package that just came in. So let me go ahead and open this up and show you guys what's in here. Alright, so over here we have my carbon fiber gauge cluster. So if you guys saw, I did have the gauge cluster I got online a while back, but it was hydro dip carbon fiber, it wasn't real carbon fiber. So what I did was I sent this out to one of the local Texas guys by the name of Adrian. He has a really cool EF Honda Civic, goes to a bunch of car shows, and he told me he does stuff in carbon fiber. So it could be your normal carbon fiber like this, and again, this is not a carbon fiber wrap, this is your real carbon fiber weave. You might be able to see some of the bubble wrap sticked on it, but you know, I'll be able to buff that out. But yeah, real carbon fiber weave, looks really good. So yeah, really excited to get this on the car. So again, this is my triple gauge pod that's going on the interior of the car. And we're taking the good old DC5 RSX to the shop. Oh, by the way, quick Supra update. So recently Liberty Walk just came out with the wide body kit. So I know right now on the market for the 2020 Mark V Supra, you have your Pandem white body kit as well as the Street Hunters kit. These two kits are the two main ones I see out there. So both great kits, but there's a bunch of them around already, so we want to do something a little different. We've been talking to one of the Liberty Walk guy, I think his name is Kaido, and he says that it just came out, so he gave us the price. It's really expensive. There might be a version 2 that might come out soon, so we might hold off a little bit and see if we want to go wide body or not, but just want to update you guys real quick. So let's go ahead and take the DC5 RSX to the shop I'm pretty excited to see my Mitsubishi turbo project. It's been over a week, I think, since I've seen it. Just made it back to Long Shop. So back here to check out the progress on the turbo build. Again, always nice cars. We have a 350Z on some Enkei RPF1s. We also have this Evo 10 from a while back. And right now over here, finally working on the turbo stuff. So the turbo, again, this is the TD04 turbo of the Ralliart. It says right here. You can use either the Evo 10 TD05 or the Ralliart TD04, which is a little smaller. And Long was telling me is running into some issues here. So first thing, this is the oil line, oil feed line, I believe. And this oil line kit was actually over here. All this stuff I got it from Jonathan Bays. And it seems like one side bolts up, but the other side doesn't quite line up. So yeah, the holes didn't quite line up. I guess whenever he drilled it, probably he didn't get it right. So we have to just drill a little bit to the side. Then also we have the Kinogawa wastegate actuator. So the stock wastegate runs too much boost, and I don't want that because it's over boosting the car. So that's the OEM setup, OEM wastegate. Another issue here is one side lines up, but the other side, as you can tell, doesn't quite line up as well. So I'm going to attempt to put the easy stuff on first. We're going to put on this Club Spec Chicago power steering cover. So it's just right here. So just two 12mm bolts should come right off. So yeah, it's just a cover that goes right on top. Alright, so I took off the bolts and I was trying to fit it in. One thing I noticed, so you do have to take the cap goes on top, is over here some of the pliers that are connecting it. You do have to use the pliers to kind of move some of these clamps, so that's what I'm going to do. Alright, cool, so it just goes right on like that. Like I said, you got to take the cap off, and I just had to shift these using pliers a little bit just because it was in the way, but holes lined up. So yep, just put it back, put the cap back, and they also provided some hardware, so some nice Allen bolts. I have the Club Spec Chicago power steering cover on. So like I said, they provided these nice washer and Allen bolt. Looks really good, and it just slips right on. It's a cover, so it's not a replacement. Pretty easy. And then we also have this Club Spec dipstick holder. So it's not the full dipstick. So if it's a full dipstick, this part has to be replaced as well. It's just this little part that's being replaced. And again, this cosmetic stuff, not necessary for the turbo build, but as you can tell, looks kind of old and doesn't go with the whole theme of the car. So I decided red would match pretty nice. With the OEM dipstick out, so if you look over here, like I said, it's going to replace it. So what I have to do is I have to find a little tool to poke this little guy out in the hole. There's a little rubber fitting, just push that out. This whole piece right here should come off, and then it's going to insert it the same way, and that little rubber piece, put it back in here in this hole.
So that's one way. Yeah, just let me be back.
Just like that, Long helped me to get this off. So what we did was we used a vice grip, clamp it together, and there's a little like chisel tool with a hammer out that little rubber thing that was in here, and then make sure not to lose it. So that same rubber thing, we just had to fit it back in here. So yeah, let's see how it goes. And just like that, we have the Club Spec Chicago power steering cover, as well as the Club Spec Chicago oil dipstick in. Alright, so we're able to put this piece on. What's this piece called again?
Mass airflow
Adapter, mass airflow boot. So on the Evo 10 is a little different.
Housing.
Mass airflow housing.
So we gotta find out and bolt. That's up to you. That's your job.
All right.
Nuts and bolts.
So Home Depot run. Oh,
No.
cool. And then we'll try to take off the stock mass airflow sensor, put it on here. So yeah, just gotta find nuts and bolts that fit this little guy right here. So as you can see, fits good. Like I said, this is meant for the OEM Evo 10 setup. Mass airflow sensor goes up here. So I'm just trying to find little bolts that fit these guys. And Long has a stash over here, so I'm just gonna see what fits. So with the ARC intake box, a little bit of difficulty putting this bolt on because there's no space to put my hand through this little guy. So I just gotta take this piece off using an Allen wrench. So I have the bolt up here, and then on the inside, like I said, I had to take it off because I had to put those nuts. So yeah, everything's all tight. I'm just gonna put the cover back on and we'll be good to go. So previously I have an aftermarket engine core intake, and we had the mass airflow sensor over here. So I'm gonna take this guy off, and mass airflow sensor is going right over here. Alright, so we have the OEM mass airflow sensor off. So like I said, this came on my car. I just put it on my engine core intake. That is for sale, by the way. So I'm just gonna have to mount this on. Yeah, it's like pretty snug. One more thing I noticed whenever I was gone, Long dropped the whole stock exhaust side, so pretty much the stock manifold and downpipe is all gone now. So yeah, pretty much we're just waiting on a few other stuff. The Y pipe right here, we already have the mass airflow sensor in, it's gonna go right here. And then also with the turbo, like I said, we have to do a little bit of adjustment here. You can see both holes don't quite line up with the Kunigawa wastegate. And then also this little guy right here, again I got this on Jonathan base. This thing goes right here, and this little attachment doesn't quite line up with these bolts as well, so I have to just drill it, make it fit. So like I said earlier, the whole OEM setup over here, the headers are gone, so let me show you guys. So this is the OEM setup, comes with this nice little heat shield, but that's how the OEM headers look like. And then there's this piece right here that goes on the back of it like that. So this whole piece is out, no longer need this. Still really good condition. Like I said, this was only on the car for like 25,000 miles. And I do have the OEM Ralliart downpipe, pretty crusty looking, but probably do that just to save costs. Down the road I might upgrade to a different downpipe. So I haven't been inside my car in over a month. Let me just show you guys the interior for those of you guys who are new to the channel. This is the interior of my car, so pretty custom as well. I'll be doing a walk around if you guys haven't seen my interior before, but reason I'm here is because recently I show you guys I just got this carbon fiber gauge pot done. So I got it, it was in carbon fiber hydro dip, but I want the carbon fiber weave. So you can see this is carbon fiber, this is carbon fiber. If it's hydro dip, it's a little bit different. So I just want to make sure it sits flat. This is a universal carbon fiber gauge pot. It's not meant for my car, but I like it over here, kind of like a Subaru style. I know a lot of Evo guys have like the A-pillar gauges up here, or they like it right here. Personally, I like the triple gauge right here on the top, just because I feel like it's really empty and plain up here. So I'm gonna have to put it up here, right in the middle. I'm gonna take off this little guy. So I got this guy when I went to Japan. He has to come off. I'm probably gonna relocate him somewhere else. And I have my 3 AM gauges again. We have my boost gauge, my oil temp gauge, as well as my air fuel ratio gauge. So 3 gauges from AEM. A little bit extra, I have 3 more gauges here as well. I have my oil pressure, my coolant temp, as well as my volt. So the 5 gauges. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty excited. Like I said, I miss my interior, miss being in here. So it's been a minute. I also do have a TGS fast knob that I'll be replacing. So this is coming off. They'll be replaced pretty soon. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave the gauges in here as well as the gauge pot. Just want to see how it looks. Really sick Civic Si. Nice raised Graham Light wheels. You guys know I love my raised wheels. This thing is pretty sick. Just needs a wash, but other than that, car looks good. So wing just came off. The Civic sounds good. Exhaust sounds good. So it's a full race exhaust. So they're getting a new Type R wing. Seems like there's a bunch of Type R goodies on it, like the taillights, the trunk is all Type R, the FD2R Type R. Look good. Also have an EK Civic hatchback here. I know this might not look like much, but it has some goodies on there. So with the Type R wheels, I see a K-Tune shifter. And then most importantly, underneath I see some goodies on the suspension. So if you look underneath, there's an ASR subframe as well as Beeks bar. So these are some good stuff. And here's on some sticky tires as well. Let's see, these tires are Federal 595s RR tires. And over here they're working on a Evo 10. So they recently just put in this new turbo manifold from Matt Performance. So just to show you guys a little comparison of the both two turbo manifolds. So again, the Evo 10 has a TD05 turbo, and if you use Evo 10 TD05 turbo, you have to use the Evo 10 turbo manifold. As you can tell, 2 holes. And if you use the Ralliart turbo, which is the TD04, then you do have to use the Ralliart turbo manifold. As you can tell, this one's different. It just has 1 hole, so very different setup. So yeah, you can't interchange it, so TD04 has to be this turbo manifold. And unfortunately, only to my knowledge, only Strictly Modified. There's only one company that makes aftermarket turbo manifold for the Ralliarts, and it's like really expensive. It's like $1,000. Alright, so we have long gonna drop in the turbo. So some of the stuff don't quite line up, so we just try to test fit it. And then for the turbo manifold, thankfully I didn't have a gasket on it, but thankfully there's an Evo 10 that we're working on, and gasket fits. Came off this old Evo 10 turbo manifold. So turbo manifold itself don't fit, but the gasket fits, lines up.